Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my May plan with me in my bullet journal, and last month I did kind of like a little cute little home theme, and I did this very simple setup just using paints, and I just really enjoyed it. But this month I'm going to be using some watercolors, and I really wanted to try out my Arches watercolor paper, and I'm very excited about it because I've never opened it up. I just always get nervous using expensive things, so this paper is definitely a little more on the expensive side. So I'm trying to like ration it, and it's also kind of scary using something so expensive because you don't like want to mess it up. So I'm kind of nervous about it, but I just really wanted to start using it. So I'm just getting out all of my watercolor supplies, and it feels so weird to go into all of my watercolor tubes again because I feel like I haven't done watercolors in some time. I have been doing a lot of like gouache and acrylics lately, but I kind of wanted to go back to watercolors because it's what I started with. If you guys have been watching my channel for a long time, you know that pretty much the first 2 years of me painting, I just pretty much solely used watercolors, and I just love the medium, and so I kind of wanted to go back to kind of like my roots and do some watercoloring today. So I had this idea to do a little greenhouse painting, and I wanted to fill it with a ton of greenery. And since I haven't watercolored in a long time, I kind of wanted to brush up on some techniques using Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes for creatives. The class I'm doing right now is this one by Rosalie, and she does a lot of nature paintings, which I thought would be perfect to kind of brush up for this theme that I'm wanting to do. Since every artist has different techniques that they use, it's a fun way to kind of change up your techniques and find what's best for you. There's definitely never one way of painting something, so being able to expand your artist toolset through exploring the mind of different creatives is something that I truly love about Skillshare classes. The premium membership is super affordable at less than $10 a month, but if you click the link in my description, you can get 2 free months of Skillshare. Okay, so back to my painting. I'm getting out my Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White paint, which is my all-time favorite white paint to use when I'm doing watercoloring. And I'm just mixing that in with like a lilac color, and I'm doing a very light wash of paint for the sky. And I'm eventually gonna top this later with some more like white and kind of add more texture to it, but for now I'm just gonna leave it like that while it dries. And now I'm just gonna start adding all of my little plants in my greenhouse. And I got this idea from walking around my apartment complex the other day, and I saw someone on their balcony have like a mini greenhouse, and I didn't even know that was a thing before, and I thought it was so adorable. And my mom has been building up her garden. Everyone seems to be gardening right now, so I thought I'd paint my own little garden greenhouse scene. And I'm just taking a bunch of different colors with my small Winsor & Newton brush. I'm trying to get some reds in there, some ochre colors, and obviously a lot of greenery. And I thought it'd be cute to do these hanging plants from the roof of the greenhouse and do some vines on the side. I myself have never been quite the gardener. I feel like every time I get a plant from a friend as a gift or anything, it just dies, and I feel like I try so hard to keep it alive, but I either overwater it or underwater it every single time. So I'm probably not meant to have my own little greenhouse, but that's why I'm just gonna paint it instead. And I'm adding a little path into the greenhouse. And for the structure, I'm going to paint it with black, and you can totally do this with a black pen if you have it. It would be probably easier to have like a steady hand with it. But for this paper, there is so much texture to it that it's really hard to use like a pen on this kind of paper. So I'm just sticking with my paintbrush. And for all the detailing and all the small little plants, I'm using my Winsor & Newton small paintbrush, which is my favorite detail brush that I have. And it just makes it a lot easier to paint those tiny little details. And this painting is definitely a bit extra compared to my normal paintings. I spent a lot of time on this painting, let me tell you. So if you don't want to add every little blade of grass and you just want it to be a wash of color, you can totally do that. I'm just kind of going all out because for some reason the day that I was painting this, I had this like jolt of inspiration to do a bunch of art. And I just had all this creative energy flowing, and I haven't gotten that since before quarantine. I've been very uninspired to create things, and that's why I haven't really done a ton of art in the last month or two. So it felt really good to kind of just have that jolt of creative energy. I just felt like I could paint forever, so I wanted to add like all the details that I could to this painting. So yeah, all in all, if you aren't feeling doing all of these details, I totally understand. I was just really into it in the moment. But yeah, now I'm just adding some reflection to the glass on our greenhouse, and I'm just taking like a very light kind of white lavender and then watering it down with a little bit of water, and I'm just trying to create that like glass-like reflection. I don't know if it looks like glass, but that's the best I could do for it. And I'm making sure to not cover up too many of the plants because I still want them kind of peeking through. But in my little planter box at the bottom, I'm just putting in a bunch of plants down there. And then I'm gonna get out some pink, like light-ish pink colors and add some flowers to it. I thought this would just bring out a little bit of extra color to the painting, because right now it's like super green, so I just wanted a jolt of like some pinks. And I'm of course going to do a moon. I know I do a moon in pretty much every one of my paintings, but I don't know, I just like the way they look. And of course add some little stars, and that is pretty much it for this painting. Okay, so I just finished up scanning the painting and then creating a little calendar version of it, and also a important date section calendar to go with it. And I'm just gonna paste that into my journal. And I ran out of matte photo paper, which is what I always use for all of my artwork in my shop and everything that I put in my journal, but this time I used some glossy paper and it worked out pretty well, I think. So this is the final May spread in my journal. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to the planning portion of my journal, and I'm going to start out by doing another goals page and business goals page, which I did last time, and I really enjoyed kind of filling that out and having that to kind of keep track what I wanted to accomplish during the month. So this left side is going to be my goals page, and I thought I would just take the same colors that I was using in the last spread so I didn't waste any more watercolors, and I am just using them to create these little succulent and hanging planters. And I think it turned out really cute, and you can kind of make them however you want to make them, but I just did like a different plant for each one. So I did a little cactus, a little hanging leaves plant, a succulent, and yeah, it's just so simple, and you could probably do it in like, I think I did this in like 5 minutes, so it wasn't bad. And then the right side, I'm just gonna do this kind of wreath leaves thing, and I'm gonna have this as my business goals page because I really liked having that last month. And for the calligraphy, I'm going in with my paintbrush for this, which I took a lot of time to learn this, so don't feel bad if it's kind of difficult in the beginning. But I just love the way that you can kind of run different colors together and it creates this like kind of ombre-ish effect to the lettering. And it's hard to achieve that with like a normal brush pen. And then for the bullets, I'm just going into the tiny squares and I'm doing different washes of green and blue colors, which I ended up really liking. I don't think I've ever tried to do that before for bullets in my journal, so I'm definitely going to use that technique in the future. And now I'm just adding some of my stickers in, and of course adding some little sparkles. And I still want to create a video on how I make stars, because there's so many different ways you can draw little sparkles, and I always think they make like drawings and paintings look so adorable, so I'll probably do that soon. But this is the final spread. Alright, so on to the last pages of what I'll be setting up in this video. I'm going to be doing my first weekly spread, and I wanted to keep up the kind of like greenery / greenhouse theme. So I'm just drawing like little outlines of houses, and that's where I'll put kind of my like daily tasks and everything, and I wanted to keep them the same kind of color scheme. I have never really stuck to my themes that well when I'm doing bullet journal spreads. I know a lot of people are able to do that, and that's awesome. So I kind of wanted to try to do that this month. I know I've said that in the past and I always fail, but I kind of want to keep this greenery theme going because I love it so much. And I'm just lettering the days of the week below each one of the little houses, and then on the right side, I wanted to do something a little different, so I'm just gonna paint a bunch of hanging leaves coming down from the top of the page. And I think I'm gonna keep up with the weekly kind of painting spreads because I never really did them in the past. I would usually just do kind of more scrapbooky spreads, which I love, but right now when everyone's in quarantine, we can't really do anything. Usually my past weekly spreads would be filled with things that I did each week, like places that I went, people that I saw, just like photos from all of that. And now it's more just like daily tasks that I do throughout the day, besides just like playing Animal Crossing and doing games and stuff. So I kind of want to keep it pretty simple like this for the rest of probably the next couple months. So yeah, this is the final spread in my May bullet journal setup. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope it gave you some inspiration for your bullet journal this month. I had so much fun painting this kind of like greenhouse theme, and yeah, I'm gonna be pretty much keeping on schedule with doing 3 videos a month, so subscribe to my channel if you want to see more, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.